I'm Ali. I'm the principal of GoGoGear Racing, and this weekend we're headed for round 2 of the United States Touring Car Championship. We're going to Fontana, California. This race is, the season's kind of a rough start for us because we have 2 long distance races back to back in 2 weeks apart, so it's a little bit of work for everybody involved. And so we have to make sure we get our A game together. We already have lost a car that we couldn't get ready in time because it had mechanical problems. We tried changing the engine and things, and we had all kinds of issues. So we're already down at least 1 car, and we need to make sure that the 3 cars that were taken down are going to make it and going to be a successful weekend for us. So we are headed down to Fontana at the beginning, and hopefully to get there Friday afternoon, start to set up and be ready to go for morning practice on Saturday morning. So going down to Fontana, it's going to be about 7-8 hour drive. Of course, we have a big crew. We have to pick some people up along the way, and of course everybody wants to stop and get food and go to the bathroom and things like that. So it's going to take a few hours. It's probably going to be an 8-hour trip, so we're going to leave in the middle of the night and hope to arrive there in the middle of the day. Also, we have to time it because when you're hauling big trailers, you don't want to get stuck in traffic, so we have to time it so we don't arrive in the middle of rush hour LA traffic.
Hi, my name is Becky. I am the team manager for GoGoGear Racing, and we have been at this for quite a while. Both my husband and I started racing. That started GoGoGear. It's evolved. Our son is now in his 2nd season of racing. We have extra cars, extra drivers, extra trailers, and I manage all of the logistics around that, making sure that we are in the right trucks, on our way to the track. Where does everybody eat? Where does everybody sleep? Are the drivers in the car with the equipment that they need to be there with? So just kind of hovering, I guess, making sure everything happens the way it's supposed to. This weekend we were at Fontana. That is one of the our long travel tracks for us this season. As any travel goes, 8 hours with a lot of people and crew and picking people up and getting things done. That's always interesting for us. Fontana's a fun track. It's a roval. It's a banked oval with some infield left and right turns. Some of our drivers love it. Some of them are okay with it. We like to add a little the spice that the United States Touring Car Championship adds to each of the events. So whether they're long events or short events, banked ovals, it's always exciting when we get to the track.
So we're going to have a really nice weekend here at Fontana. This track is really high speed, so it's really critical to make sure that all the cars are in tip-top shape and we have no errors because any minor little thing can cause damage. So remember the basic stuff. Everybody, you have each car has a person. Brett, you're on the 33. David, you're on the 32. Gary's doing the 31. And remember that anybody, if you find anything wrong with the car, make sure you report to Lance. So he decides the course of action based on your findings.
Hi, my name is Reza. I'm a driver for GoGoGear Racing. I've been driving professionally on the track for 3 years now and driving go-karts and everything in between since probably about 5 years old. Racing has been a huge part of my life. That's what I've done since I was brought up, and cars and racing is really what I want to get into.
The track is very popular with the drivers because it's so high speed. Everybody likes to go fast, and there's not too many places you can go as fast as over here. I think we hit about over 140 mile an hour in a touring car a few years back. So it's a really fast track, provided there's no wind, and you can do quite a bit of damage if you're not watching what you're doing.
My name's Lance. I'm the crew chief for the GoGoGear Racing Team. I've been with the team for about 11 years. Been a long time. Been in mechanics since I was 18. I got involved because I was a Hyundai tech at the dealer, and the guys that were building the car had some issues, and they came to the dealer to get some advice. And they ended up coming over and fixing it, and went to the races, and that's the beginning of how I started. So the Civic 32 car came in after practice, and one of the crew members noticed that the engine mount was cracked. So we needed to figure out why it was cracking and repair that. So we had to get a welder and weld that mount up, make it strong for the race.
Luckily, we were able to have a welder on hand and fix that up. And I thought, okay, perfect. We can fix this problem. That was the problem that we were having before. Perfect. The car is going to be, even better. We're not losing a little bit of that torque to twisting the motor, and everything's getting the wheels. It should feel well.
Having an engine mount that's not as it should be was concerning. The team did a great job, pulled out that Miller welder, and got done the job that they needed to get done, and had the car ready.
And I was really pushing and thinking this is my last chance before the race, and I need to really, dial it in and get going, because the other guys, Brad and Danny, were really fast on the oval and really fast in the infield, so got to do anything to keep up with them.
So we had one more practice session left until the race Sunday afternoon, and so we sent Reza out to make sure the car's running good for the race, and he actually turned his fastest lap time in that session. But that's when all hell broke loose and things went bad from there.
So in the second practice, one of the cars caught on fire out on the track, and they threw the red flag.
I didn't hear the gas tank fall, but it did fall. And then, the fire, looking back at the pictures and the videos and everything that came out from it, the fire was really low down, and so I couldn't see anything in my mirrors, and the car was still getting fuel, and the car felt great. It was dialed in, pulling good, motor was good, and you kind of get that sense of something's not right when you're looking at the corner workers. And one corner worker at the hairpin was just looking at me with a weird look, and I was looking at them like, why are you looking at me like that? That you shouldn't be doing that. That's weird. What's going on? But I'm on my lap, and you keep going. So I'm going down the straightaway now, and I see a safety truck coming perpendicular to the track in front of me. And that's never a good sign when you see a safety truck coming to go get you. Normally, that doesn't happen. And then I saw the corner worker jump out of her stand and wave the red flag. And so I thought, oh man, something really bad happened to somebody else. That's really unfortunate. So I pull over, and as soon as I stopped, the gas tank kind of shifted forward and started. There was a tailwind actually, and so the wind blew the flames towards the front. And now, instead of the gas falling and going out the back like it was low and out the back, now the fire was underneath the car, blowing forward with a tailwind. And so I could see it come up on the passenger side of the door. And so I sat there for a second, and then the fire came, and that's when I knew, oh, it's for me. That's okay. Okay. So then turned everything off. I turned the car off, got out safely.
On this occasion, it was his last qualifying before the race, and I was watching him on my son on the track. It was in the Civic, and then everything was quiet, which is not good at a racetrack. What we found out afterwards was that it was Reza. It was the Civic. It had dropped one of the straps to the gas tank, broke, dropped the tank, which dragged, punctured a hole, and fire. They brought back that little burnt bolt well, it wasn't burnt. The crew did a great job. It came back. Reza was fine. I will say it was a little bit of a anxiety, I guess, maybe. I don't know what to say. I mean, you know, when we're at the track, things happen. As I said, safety's always first. We've got the gear. We've got all the safety equipment in the car. We have to depend on that as drivers.
Oh, there's a problem. All right.
Yeah, the tank fell, I think. Something happened, the tank fell and the tank caught on fire.
Oh my goodness.
Why is it held up by baling wire?
Hey, he's backing it up. Yeah, watch out, don't stand behind.
Yeah, so when the car came off the track, it was on the flatbed. They got it off, still pouring fuel out of the tank. So we had to secure the tank and then figure out why the tank broke or dropped. Figure out what the parts we needed to repair the vehicle to get it back on the track.
So of course everybody was asking about if the car blew up, but the kind of stuff doesn't really happen with gasoline too much. It's just the Hollywood. But the car, you know, there was a small fire, and which did a little bit of damage, of course, and can do damage quickly. And so we, thankfully the great safety crew brought the car in, put the fire out quickly. We got the car in, and then at that point, everybody was telling us about how sorry they were about what happened and how our race is going to be gone, basically. And I was thinking, that's not true. We have no idea. We were going to get this car back on the road.
Once I knew it was because the gas tank fell and that was it, then definitely trying to get back on the road and be there for the race. You know, it doesn't, you know, you can just give up in those moments and, you know, call it a day, but at the end of the day, we're there to race. So we all want to race as much as possible. So it's always more fun to be, you know, dicing with people and out there. So.
LKQ, pick your part. Yeah, LKQ, pick your part. San Bernardino.
Need a strap?
13 miles, 15 miles.
Two straps, actually.
Yeah.
And
So can you see if they have any? Well, I'm sure they have Civics there. Because the hatchbacks, all of them are 10.
Okay. Yeah,
So we
15
need a
miles.
tank and 2 straps.
LKQ. So you just got to call LKQ San Bernardino.
Yeah. Well, we don't just go.
Just go?
Just go.
Okay.
Okay, Q's not open, is it?
No, well, call. Make sure they're
LKQ's
open.
open. Open, they close at 5.
Call. Make sure they're open.
Okay.
Ask them if they have any
next,
Civic.
Okay, next door there's a...
New tank too, right?
We need a tank.
Yeah.
Get 2 straps.
Okay,
Tank
Q
and 2 straps.
should be able to pull it for you.
This is LKG Civic. Oh, I've never heard of it. I know, but that's what he said. Okay. Hurry up.
Do you have any 99 Civic, 3000 Civic? Honda? Okay. And do you know if they're hatchback, coupe, 4-door? All 6 of them? Okay. Okay. 1 2-door, and that's not the hatchback, right? That's the coupe. Okay. So you have one of those. Okay. What about for a 2000 Civic? So she's got 699 Civics. Most of them are 4-doors, a couple 2-doors. She said don't have any. And like 1 or 2 coupe 2000s. Okay. Well, self-service LKQ.
Grab a coupe and grab a coupe and we'll hope for the best.
You have no idea. We were going to get this car back on the road. So, so instantly, as soon as we got the car offloaded, the focus was, okay, what do we need to do to get this car in the race? We had an hour and a half. That was the tough part. The hour and a half, do we have enough time to go get everything? And of course, we didn't have a gas tank or anything in the trailer, so we had to send some people off to find parts, find a gas tank, to go to the junkyard, to find some OEM parts, and then half the crew stayed behind, work on the car, get the car ready for the transfer when the other crew arrives from the junkyard. So that was the plan, to get the car going, and so the guys worked like hell. We got the parts out, and the other guys went to the junkyard and tried to grab whatever they could.
So we're going to want to get the pump as well, and whatever like small lines and hose clamps and little things like that that we can get. What's this? This is also oh, wow, Ford. Ford Road Civic. Forever. That's too new. That's like 01. Good. There we go. This guy. There's a Civic Coupe. 99 Civic. There you go. Is that a fuel tank? On the map?
Yep, it's there.
Okay.
Oh, it's got holes in it.
Got holes in it?
Yeah.
You know what?
They drain these things. They poke holes in them.
They do? Yeah, it's got a red plug in it.
Dang it.
They cut a hole in it? It's got the plug in it too. Yeah, we found another Civic, the same thing. It's got the plug, yeah. Or they take out, yeah. Yeah, I looked at there's a Prelude, same thing, drilled.
Some are, some aren't. I don't know why. All right, I guess we're screwed.
So when I got back to the track, Ali and the crew were already trying to figure out how to make a smaller tank work so we could make the start of the race.
The go-karts to the track, remember that time? Yes. You drove the go-karts to the track, and then the gas tank fell off in the middle of the freeway somewhere, and we had to rig up the water bottle.
It was a small water bottle,
Yeah.
one of the small ones for kids, with gas. You do a couple laps with the cart, you come in, put more gas in the water bottle.
Yeah, it lasted a couple of laps every couple of laps.
That's
we had to refill
awesome.
it, but we made the day. Now,
Paid off our own car.
now we get some points.
You're gonna scale it up.
We get some points.
We just have a little canister of fuel, just enough to like do this to get points for the race. We're gonna come out of space. We won't make a lot. We don't have enough fuel. But,
The rear bumper melted enough to touch the tire.
it's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine.
Pump is on, but it's not sucking. Finger on that.
Yeah, so the fuel pump wasn't working, so we had to wire up the fuel pump from another power source because the wires had got melted, probably shorted the fuse or something. We're not sure. So we had to run power to the to the fuel pump to try to make it work, but it was not safe. So.
And they did a great job trying to get the car back together. And we only had an hour and a half. That's a little bit tight for us. The team split. Half the mechanics stayed, half went to try to get a new tank and get that put together.
We managed to fix some damage and fixed all the damage in the car from the fire and everything. At least not the cosmetic stuff, the mechanical stuff. But the big thing that really set us back was the junkyards drill holes in the gas tank to drain them, so it's impossible to find a gas tank without a hole in it from the junkyard. Now, of course, if we had more time, we have our welder, we could just weld up the hole, but that just takes time, and that's just something we didn't have. Within an hour and a half, it was going to be extremely tight. So that ultimately, the time is the one that is what bit us. But we didn't give up because we were really desperate to make sure that Reza's in the race, that collects his 50, 60, 70 points, whatever he was going to get, because that was the key. Because in a long championship season, you never know. Everybody has problems sometime in the season, and this was our big problem at the beginning of the season. So you never know what's going to happen. 5 races from now, we still have 5 races to go. One of them double points. So it's really important to not give up and collect as many points as possible, because you could be in first place with 1 race to go at the last race, and with double points with a 2-hour race, you could have an engine problem or something like that, and then that could put you out, cost you a championship. So we don't want to have that happen.
For sure. 470. Woo! What'd you play? All right. Nice.
We had all these issues with the 32 car, with the Honda, and he really stole the show because it took so much attention to get everything going and everything. But it's also important to remember that we had 2 cars finish on the podium also, so 2 out of 3 is actually not that bad. And Gary, driving the 31 car, he had an outstanding race. He's always Mr. Professional, drove such an awesome race, and just dominated the touring car field. He won at round one, got pole at round one, won flag to flag, did the same thing over here. So he's on his way. He's won 3 championships in a row in TC. He's on his way to win another one, hopefully. So that part's awesome. And Gordon, driving the 33, also did fabulous, had a great dice, clawed his way back, fell back, clawed his way back, passed the second place guy, and on the last lap it was a drag race on to the start finish, and ended up with 3rd place. So yeah, those guys did awesome in the Hyundais. So yeah, that was the highlight of the weekend, seeing those guys do so well and get so happy.
Okay. Well, guys, that was an up and down weekend. Had a little fire here with this car, but made it through. Almost made the race. Thank you everybody for trying. Thank you, you guys worked really hard. Lance, thank you. Drew, David, Brett, you guys were awesome. And yeah, we almost made the race. But so close, huh?
Can't win them all, right?
Yeah, but it would be nice.
The adventures are not over. This team is always full of adventure. And once we were packing up, we thought, okay, it's a good day. We had 1 car win, 1 car finished 3rd place. That wasn't too bad. The 1st and the 3rd is not too bad. But then we noticed that, yes, one of the leaf springs on the trailer is broken, and we can't get home. So at least we can't get the car home. So we had to figure out what to do there. We had to decide if we're going to fix it, drive it, abandon it, burn it. What are we going to do?
So it's not safe to tow like that. So I ended up sticking around, getting a hotel. In the morning, I went to a Redneck Trader Supply and got the leaf spring, repaired it in the street by the Redneck Trader Supply, and drove home.
Always exciting for us. So, always exciting, which again brings in the fact that he stayed alone, which is a vehicle that should have carried 3 people. So now we had to juggle gear and juggle things and fit people in and have that ride home for 8 hours. A little tighter than it was going down for us. So, yeah, but it all works.
Super happy with the way the team worked, and that was a great effort. And hopefully we're going to have the car better than ever at Sonoma, and we'll be really competitive there at a track where the car should be pretty well suited if it has the right suspension setup. Last year, the season finale was at Sonoma, and I had a great race there. I was running in 3rd. Didn't have the pace to keep up with the front 2, but I was comfortably in 3rd. And then with 2 laps to go, we had fuel pump issues and fuel relay problems and all sorts of electrical gremlins that have been plaguing like so many of my races thus far. But yeah, the car has the pace to do it. So hopefully we can keep up. And I guess one bright side with missing this race is now my tires are going to be a little bit fresher than those who did the full race at Fontana. So that could be a slight advantage, but you know, I think the car will definitely have the pace, and with a larger field, there's going to be, you know, people to pass, people to get passed by, you know, all sorts of action going on. So it'll be a good race.
One of the things we have to do is fix the Civic, of course. Now we have bigger plans for the Civic down the road for later in the season, because it does need more power. So we're going to do an engine change and things down the road, but time is always, the races are always so close that you rarely have time to do major stuff in the middle of the season. So in this case, we have to get the Civic going, fix the gas tank damage, fix some of the cosmetic damage, things like that. Our 33 car, driven by Gordon Punn, he had a little body contact with the Lexus, I believe. So the front nose on that car is damaged, so we need to change the front nose, which means building a new splitter, building a new mount, new grille, headlight mounts, wrap it with Orifol, gold and yellow, and yeah, do all that so we can get back and look good in time for the Sonoma race. Sonoma race, I expect, usually at Sonoma, there's always a better turnout. A lot of people come out. We expect to have more competition there, so we need to have our A game and make sure the car's running great and the drivers are in good shape and we have all our stuff. Fortunately, it's our home race, so it's close to home, and so that part's nice. We don't have to travel very far, but yeah, there's always work to make sure that everything is ready and good to go.